sound familiar to you? You are at an industry conference with a terrific lineup of speakers. The much anticipated and admired industry expert is introduced to the stage with a round of applause. He walks up to the podium and thanks you all for being there, tells you his name again and title, as well as the company details and what they do and how delighted he is to be there and what he's going to talk about. Then the presentation eventually starts with a seamlessly endless stream of slides heavily laden with words and data. Your eyes glaze over and you can't help but think, are we there yet? Your opening words make or break your presentation. And the great news is, once you know how, you can grab the attention you want from the minute that you start talking. You can create an immediate connection with every individual in the room. Imagine being admired and applauded as a fantastic presenter. Great for your career and peer recognition, don't you think? But also a tremendous personal feeling of achievement where you've got no more imposter syndrome and no more self-doubt. Through many, many years, many decades of training and coaching CEOs and senior executives in speaking situations like employee presentations, pitching for new business, or speaking at conferences, I have witnessed over and over again excruciating and super boring starts to presentations like this example.
Thank you, Laurie. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here today at the National Press Club to speak to you. My name's David Simon. I'm the Chairman of the Australian Trucking Association, the peak body that represents the Australian trucking industry, a great industry that I'm very proud to represent. I'm also the Managing Director of Simon National Carriers. We provide premium logistics and transport services throughout Australia. We focus on safety and on compliance. So we're part of the ATA's TruckSafe program. TruckSafe businesses have to meet higher standards than those required by law. It's a must for businesses that make safety a priority. As Laurie's outlined, more than 70% of the freight task in Australia today is carried by road.
Now, David Simon is an industry leader and obviously knows his stuff and no doubt has some very interesting things to say. But our first impression of him is that his opening is not as impactful as it could have been. I'm Kylie Bartlett, keynote speaker and communication and media manoeuvres leading executive presentation skills trainer and coach. With qualifications in neuro and behavioural science, we use these proven scientific frameworks to train and coach executives on how to shape their ideas and key messages into persuasive presentations that lead their audiences to take action. Opening a presentation or speech is not hard, and there are so many effective ways to do it. Let's look at one that I think is a brilliant example.
The other day, I was out walking on a very chilly Canberra morning with my little mini schnauzer, Vincent. We call it the walk of the 100 W's. You have to be very patient with Vincent. And the other day, I was waiting, and caught the end of a radio interview in my earpods, where I heard an athlete, many athletes talking at the moment, saying to the interviewer she'd just played a competitive sport game with her husband and she'd lost. She was angry about it, but then she said, and like all women, I really hold a grudge. And the interviewer laughed and she laughed and I laughed, and I'm looking down at Vincent, and suddenly I thought, that is pathetic. Not that piddling we. It is pathetic that we are all laughing at the fact that we know women hold grudges. Implicit in that laughter is something else, is a deeper knowledge about women's anger, a shared anger.
The start is brilliant because Virginia grabs immediate attention by telling a story that most of us can relate to. She includes humour and then continues to link the story to her keynote topic. There are so many ways to start a presentation, but you need to find one that works for you and your different audiences. It doesn't need to be the same technique every time. We have a link for you at the end of this video with a complete rundown of 16 great ideas for opening presentations. But for now, here are 3 of our clients' favorite openings that have worked wonders for them. Number 1 is starting with a rhetorical question. For example, how many problems have gone unsolved in the world, not because the solution doesn't exist, but because of how the solution was communicated? Here's another one. Number 2, use a powerful quote. For example, creating a presentation without the audience in mind is like writing a love letter to who it may concern. And number 3, starting with a shocking statistic or fact. For example, did you know that 90% of all startups fail within the first 5 years? Today we'll discuss how to be amongst the 10% that succeed. Do you think your presentation openings or those of your team are grabbing the attention that they deserve? There is nothing worse than having that feeling or witnessing that you are losing control of your audience before you even get into the actual content of your presentation. And once that feeling creeps in, it will badly affect the rest of your speech or presentation. Maybe it will even cause a negative perception and raise questions from others about your leadership abilities and confidence in being a company or organisation's representative. We have a whole video library of great openers. If you would like to see more examples, just let us know by replying and we will then send it to you in an email. Don't forget to give us your email. Or if you would like to talk to me personally about a presentation you have coming up, please don't hesitate to reach out. Until then, my challenge to you is to think about the opening of your next presentation. Get out of your comfort zone and try implementing some of the great openers that we have provided. You can thank me later. Good luck.